Hello everyone and welcome back. My name is Felix of Virtual Witchcraft, coming to you live from the pitch here at League 7, ready to present yet another exciting match today. However, I'm not alone in this box today. Instead, I have been joined by the gracious, the powerful, the fearsome Haru Ura. Otherwise, you know him, you love him, you fear him on the pitch. Ketchup. Ketchup, welcome on in. How are you feeling today?
I'm feeling great today. I'm so honored to be back here again, even though I did get out last week, but you were testing new stuff. Of course, that would happen. And I see we have some exciting matches today.
That we do. We have 3 exciting matches today. The first being the Nimbus Nighthawks versus the Hellfire Hogs. Now, for those of you who may not know, these 2 teams have fought against each other in the past and are bittersweet rivals. They love each other, but they're always contesting against one another. And the last time that they faced one another was back during the Newts qualifiers back in Season 4. This is going to be the first match that the Nimbus Nighthawks play today of the entire season. What do you think, Ketchup? Having seen their performance in previous seasons, what do you anticipate we can see today?
Well, I can see that this is going to be a tough match for the both of them, and I have no idea who's going to win. Both teams have really good players, and both teams did have it switched up since last time that they were in the league. I see that the Hogs have some new players like Eastman, right?
Beesman is a new addition, I believe, this season. Also, we see the return of Green-Black. As of the first week, I believe, Green-Black had not yet been confirmed on the team, but today, as of at least last week, has indeed joined in on the Hogs. There's been some switches here and there between seasons, obviously, but a lot of the core lineup regarding the Hogs has stayed the same. I would say that Nimbus Nighthawks shows the most versatility and variability in their lineup. However, still captained by the same lovable Mishimo. I am happy to see yet another Seeker thriving. But right now, it seems like we're waiting on the 2 teams just to get themselves loaded on in. Of course, they're probably taking some time to practice and get some things together. But we will be getting into the first match here very shortly.
I see that Beastman is currently in a match, but the Nimbus Nighthawks aren't.
Indeed. It looks as if the Hellfire Hogs have entered into a match, but not with the Nimbus Nighthawks.
Are they maybe scrimming right before the match starts?
Current B stream. Oh yeah, we've got information that Beesman's stream right now is a scrimmage. Let me go ahead and reach on out and see if I can get a match-based one. But yes. Alright everyone, we're currently just waiting to see who's going to confirm for the actual match. Right now we are taking a look at Beesman's scrim over here. Let's see. Always a fun time here at League 7. Smiling She says, it's all about the birds. I see we have a die-hard Nimbus Nighthawks fan here in the chat today. What do you anticipate then, my dear Cheese? Do you believe that we're going to see a victory for the Nimbus Nighthawks in their inaugural match of Season 5? Or do you think the Hellfire Hogs are going to turn this around and bring their own first win of the entire season? I know, based on performance alone, Hellfire Hogs have quite a ways to get up into the running again. Currently having lost their previous matches and are rather down just a bit. However, we've seen in the past that they tend to turn it around later in the season, and I'm wondering if perhaps that's what we should look forward to in this season as well. What do you think, Ketchup? Which between the two teams would you place your money on?
Well, I don't want to take sides, and it can go either way. But if I really had to choose, well, I'm gonna have to be a bit biased. But I did play for the Hogs again, so I have to go with the Hogs.
Makes sense, makes sense. I would say I am hopeful for the Hogs. As it stands, I think they've just had a shaky start. At the beginning of any season, there's always nerves, there's always just kind of learning the plays as well as getting back into the rhythm with the team. And I'd say that this season is no different. While some come tearing out the gate, other teams tend to bring it back around as they get into a steady motion. Now, what I would say though, for the Hogs, in order to improve their gameplay and make sure that they have a competitive stance in the running, they're going to need to focus primarily on their defensive line. We've seen that in the past they've let a few chasers get into their goals, despite the fact that Beastman is an absolutely fantastic keeper. It's just the overwhelming pressure. If they have more defensive chaser line coming on in to help Beastman in the back end of the pitch, then I think they're going to be able to keep further goals from coming in. And then of course they're going to need to focus on having a greater seeker pressure. It seems when it comes down to the the Hellfire Hogs seeker game, they're tending to struggle a bit in keeping the seeker up in the air. Granted, that has been due to a lot of formidable beaters out on the pitch today. Of course, Ketchup, you would have a greater insight when it comes down to keeping that seeker pressure as a beater. What would you recommend to the Hogs today if it were to, if you were to try and bring them back around into the running?
My personal opinion is that the beater must not be afraid to get off seeker and help their chasers when they need to. Because with these rules, 20-point snitches are important, but you can never let go of the chaser game fully. The beater just knows when to commit to either the chaser game or the seeker game.
Very true. I would say it does become a bit of a balancing act. Obviously, you're going to have to focus on the seeker at times, but with the new meta, it does become something that you have to focus on balancing your attention between the seeker and the chasers now, which does add a lot more versatility in play. It's a lot more fun to watch too, if I must be honest. Because of course, being a seeker, I like having the beater tear off of me for a bit so I can have my moment in the sun. But also, it does force the beaters to be a lot more, I would say, versatile. And I have seen a lot more overwhelming beater pressure over the past few games than I have seen in previous seasons. Obviously, we saw as of last week, I believe, the Angels, with Angel herself proving to be an absolutely fantastic beater, and one that I am absolutely fearful to go up against whenever I find myself on the pitch. So it'll be interesting to see what they do this week, whether Ashes Vamber can keep up with that overwhelming beater play, or if their opponents over with the Nimbus Nighthawks will prove to have the superior beater play. I'm interested to see. Now we do see that Beesman is in chat. Beesman in chat, whilst in scrim, whilst dancing in said scrim, saying, "I'll be locked up." Pumpkin Snatch saying Beesman will be locked in. So it's either going to be Beesman is going to be completely locked into the match, or Beesman is going to be set into jail. Let's hope it's the former.
He's gonna be in keeper jail either way, so I don't think there's much of a difference. Even though in the Tri-Wizard tournament we did see a spectacular performance of Beesman in any role he plays.
That is true. He is a very incredible, versatile player.
When in Q6 you don't want to pass up on Beesman, I'm gonna say that.
When in Q6, I would love to have Beesman on my team just in general. Oh, and it does look as if the teams are getting themselves loaded on in now. Looks as if we're about to see the very first matchup between the Hellfire Hogs and the Nimbus Nighthawks. Chat, if you have any prospective predictions or predilections in your personal preference, I would say go ahead, put it in chat now, as we are about to be loading in to the first match. Hellfire Hogs, Nimbus Nighthawks currently loading themselves into their custom game. Where we're going to be at, we're about to find out.
There's one thing I can predict, and I can predict that it's gonna be a great match. Don't you agree?
I know that we are in for an incredible match between these two Titan teams here today. And it looks like we are over at Weasley-Borough Sunset? Oh, that's a rare match to see.
With Weasley-Borough as my favorite map, I do like it a lot, but Sunset is one of the weirder ones. I would have preferred maybe seeing an day or even a cloud.
I mean, I'm never going to complain about it. As it stands, I've always enjoyed having the Weasley-Borough Sunset in the match. It just becomes one of those points where, obviously, as a Seeker, it can be a little difficult to play with. Because, of course, you're having to contend against the background. And whilst we're talking, Hellfire Hogs bring it home with the first goal of the match, bringing that score 10-0 at 6 minutes and 20 seconds in.
It is a great goal, but as you can see, they are losing on Snatch. So do they have to get more goals to prevent that? Or are they gonna help the Seekers?
Oh, good. We're both shaking off a bit of the rust when it comes down to the commentary. As it stands, you are absolutely right. It does look as if the Nimbus Nighthawks are 50% on their meter. Meanwhile, the Hellfire Hogs are just encroaching on the 48 percentile. It looks as if Dak Daniels is putting up some excellent beater play, but doesn't matter. Nimbus Nighthawks are also bringing it back with the Chaser game, bringing that score to an even 10-10. 5 minutes, 30 seconds left in the match. Nimbus Nighthawks still in the lead on their on their Seeker game.
Well, that is great, but that...
What a shot! Melanor puts it in within the next 10 seconds after the previous goal, bringing that to 20-10.
Well, that's something I did not expect. I expected maybe the Hawks to hold it for a hero kick, but getting a goal is certainly not bad.
It's not bad indeed, but it does look like the Seeker game is encroaching on the first snitch. Tama takes a bludger, allowing over here for Michimo to get a lead on the snitch, but Tama regains the same lead. They're going back and forth. Dak Daniels about to try and knock them out of the sky. Will he get it? Who's going to get the snitch? Still on the 100%.
No one got it. Michimo is good for a lineup, but Tama can bump.
Tama gets the snitch! That is an additional 20 points put over to the Hogs, bringing that 40 to 10, 4 minutes, 20 seconds left on the clock. Wow!
I'm gonna say, I did not expect the Hogs to come back, but Tama with the surprise comeback. It seems Tama has really grown from last match, where they did not catch a single snitch.
That, I must say, very proud of Tama. I have known that Tama over the past few matches has been experimenting with their brooms and builds, something that I wouldn't necessarily recommend for a proper match, but maybe they've learned exactly what works and what doesn't and is bringing it here today. In previous matches, I think, oh goodness, lineup, Tama had been working with a clean sweep and a shooting star on the previous matches. What he's flying today, not exactly certain, but I'm sure we'll figure it out.
While you were talking, I saw that Melanor did another goal for the Hogs. I think the Nimbus Nighthawks really need to lock in if they want to make a chance of a comeback.
I think it just happens to be the first game rust. Again, this is their first match since Season 4. They are going to have a bit of that sleepy start. We do see that they are 40 points behind. However, one snitch capture and 2 goals is enough to bring them back to a tied game, and another goal after that put them ahead on the lead. And we do see that they are currently leading on the snitch race by approximately 10%. Maybe the Nimbus Nighthawks will be taking home this second snitch, but they are keeping up the chaser pressure over by way of the Nimbus Nighthawks side of the pitch. Meanwhile, Dak Daniels is hardlining that seeker, gets a hit on Tama, making sure that they have that lead on the snitch.
I see that all the chasers of the Hogs are really trying to make sure that Tama does not die. They really need that snitch to confirm the win. But with the pressure on the beater, that does mean that the chaser game of the Nimbus Nighthawks. Do I just see that the Nimbus Nighthawk player left?
It looks as if Rosati has left the match. Probably not of their own volition. Maybe got knocked on out, but we are not seeing any bloody hells. It looks like they are wishing to continue with this, putting another 10 points on the board by way of the Nighthawks, despite not having one of their players. Love to see it,
well,
love to see it.
It's a great goal, but it can fire back immensely due to the fact that they're now gonna have a hero kick.
They are going to have a hero kick. Oh! And Dak Daniels knocks out Tama. Meanwhile, Shinobi puts another 10 points on the board for the Hellfire Hogs. Dak Daniels going ham and securing Michimo, that secondary snitch, bringing the score 60-40 at 1 minute and 25 seconds left on the clock. We might yet see the Nimbus Nighthawks turn this around. There's just enough time for another snitch and another few goals. What are you thinking, Ketchup? Where are we at and who do you believe? Oh, another goal!
Well, it's gonna be a very close one. The Nimbus Nighthawks need to make at least one goal and catch the snitch. But the snitch is gonna be a very close one. I believe it's possible, but with maybe 4 hits of the beater, you can already deny last snitch catch. So the Seekers have to avoid the beaters at all costs.
And it's very difficult. Oh, what a shot! Cowboy Jackman puts it in yet again. Another beautiful, clean goal there. Love this. Love this chaser play here today. The Hellfire Hogs and Nimbus Nighthawks are bringing their all to the pitch, and I must say, I love to see it. Love to see it. Currently, Nimbus Nighthawks are... Oh, it looks like they are slightly trailing behind on that snitch race. No, they are just even now. 10 seconds left on the clock. Hellfire Hogs, and that looks like it's going to bring the match for the Hellfire Hogs here today. 80-50. First win of the match. Well done. Well done, Hellfire Hogs. What do you think, Ketchup?
An incredible match. An incredible match. But it seems towards the second half, the Nimbus Nighthawks did catch up again. It seems like they're warming up. The rust is shaken off. The Hogs cannot feel safe because the next match can go either way.
I agree. It's becoming one of those things where I just think they were in a bit of their warm-up period. We did see that the Hellfire Hogs had loaded into a scrim to warm themselves up before the match, so maybe at that point they're all loose, they're limber, they're ready for these matches. Meanwhile, Nimbus Nighthawks, maybe this is their first time getting back on the pitch on the whole, or maybe they've just had a bit of an easy practice leaning into this. We have over here Smiling Cheese say, very close, look in for the next and you got it. I got to say, I think they can. I would love to see a third match in this. So Nimbus Nighthawks, I'm rooting for you. Hellfire Hogs, I know you have what it takes to shut this down, but Nimbus Nighthawks, don't give it to them so easy. I want to see you. I want to see you get a win. I want to see you put some points on the board in this Season 5.
Virtual. I really got a question for you. What do you think the Nimbus Nighthawks can change, can do better to make sure that they're gonna win the next game?
Ooh, I would say they're going to need to focus primarily on a lot more aggressive chaser play. I usually say that they need to focus on defensive chaser play, but it looks as if most of their points were coming over from either the snitch or just trying to keep on top of keeping the enemy chasers out of their goal. But we did see that the Hellfire Hogs were going between both their Seeker gameplay and their chaser gameplay. They had a good balance, something I think they were critically lacking in the previous few matches, but they've since learned and brought it here today. Maybe a bit more rotation from the Nimbus Nighthawks. I want to see their chasers rotating in and out of midfield. I want to see them primarily focus, if not on having one aggressive chaser, one defensive, and one interference, then maybe rotating each of those chasers in and out as they go. Do you think that that would be in line with that, Ketchup?
Well, yes, I do think that it is a great what you said. And I did indeed notice that when the Hogs were rotating to Seeker, when Tama was slow, Hogs just immediately went towards the beater so he could not finish it off. Of course the enemy beater did get one kill, but it's only one kill. They can really recover from that.
They can. And I will say, when it comes down to beater play, at least from my perspective, it's easier said than done to get those kills in. I know you would know that off the top of your head. Just as it stands, it's easy to get clunks in, it's easy to get stuns, but it's hard to secure those knockouts. And we did see, over by way of the Nimbus Nighthawks, that Dak Daniels was putting in the legwork and knocking out quite a few of those key players. However, they're going to need to focus, I'd say, a little more on the chaser gameplay. I did see that they had some good aggressive Seeker pressure, but maybe balance that out a little more. Again, we were discussing this earlier regarding the meta. You're going to need to focus on some of the chaser gameplay, especially as it gets into the middle of the matches. But it looks as if we are about to be moving on into the second game. Oh, we might yet have lost it. Oh, no, we are back in this. Wonderful. Welcome, everyone. Second game between the Hellfire Hogs and the Nimbus Nighthawks. Ketchup, why don't you lead us on in here?
Well, it seems that this is going to be another great game today. I see the Nighthawks are really motivated with the exact same emote at the exact same time in the beginning. And let's see, is Dak Daniels is first going to go for chaser game, leaving Seeker game in the beginning.
That's fair enough.
After that, immediately going to Seeker game, which as a beater main, I do condone. It's a very good tactic, but helping chase game in the beginning isn't always necessarily bad.
I would even say it's better. As it stands, having the Seeker gameplay in the early game, if a Seeker gets knocked down fairly early on in the match, they can rather quickly recover, catch up, a few key bumps here and there, and they're back on target. But when it comes down to the first, I'd say, minute and a half of the match, they're really going to need to focus on that chaser gameplay, because that's when they can secure the points the fastest. And we do see that the Hellfire Hogs are really leading the charge when it comes down to the chaser gameplay. Shinobi in possession of the Quaffle, passing it on over to Melanor, looking as if they're trying to open that shot, but Butera is keeping them out of that goal and putting it back onto the field with Rosati. Rosati in possession of the Quaffle, passing it on over to Dark Grit and Nighthawk. Nighthawk just past the midfield, swinging on over to Beastman, looking for an opening shot, and puts it in. First goal of the match at 5 minutes 35 seconds left on the clock goes to the Nimbus Nighthawks. What do you think, Ketchup? I think that was a spectacular goal on my side, but do you have any insight?
It was an incredible goal, and I'm just gonna say this: Beastman is doing really good today, but you don't need to think lightly of Gutera. Gutera is really in form today also. Both keepers are doing very well to keep the Quaffle away, and I think this game might be more of a snitch game than people might realize.
Speaking of the snitch, it looks as if Tama is at the 100%, just needs to get on top of the snitch and capture here, but Michimo is catching back up.
And Michimo got it!
What a
during
catch!
The first snitch for the Nimbus Nighthawk.
It looks as if the Nimbus Nighthawks have knocked off their rust, have found their form, and are back online here today with an incredible lead at 4 minutes 38 seconds in. Yet the Hellfire Hogs have reduced that lead. Now we only see that the Nimbus Nighthawks are ahead by 20 points with a score of 10-30 to the Nimbus Nighthawks at 4 minutes 25 seconds in.
Well, I'm just gonna say, but didn't Michimo already die to the enemy Seeker? It's gonna be a rough start for the Nimbus Nighthawks, but an early Seeker death does not mean the end.
As we were saying earlier, an early Seeker game can be very good, but also at the same time, it's the easiest to lose the lead on. As you are getting farther along in the match, that's really when you want to be looking, I'd say approximately between the halfway mark and the 75 mark is when you really want to key in on the Seeker gameplay. What a beautiful shot over there by way of the Nimbus Nighthawks. An incredible pass into a one-timer, into a far goal. Beastman just could not get over to the far hoop in time, bringing that at 10-40 Nimbus Nighthawks in the lead.
What a great fumble from Deck Genials. They immediately got the Quaffle and immediately Deck Genial knew what to do and fumbled the ball. Is their team gonna score again because of that? Oh, Beastman saved the goal. What an incredible keeper.
Beastman is giving as much as he's taking here today. He might have had a few shots sent on him, but he's not about to let the Nimbus Nighthawks simply get the goals. Meanwhile, it looks as if the Seeker game, Tama is enjoying a strong lead here, but can Tama keep up with that lead as Michimo is coming out from behind, attempting to regain that lost match? But I am noticing something here, Ketchup. I'm noticing that Ashes of Amber is keeping Dak Daniels on his toes, preventing him from interfering with the beater game. And that just may be why we are seeing Tama enjoying that lead. It is reduced now as Michimo gets a bump on Tama, but Tama's still in the lead. Meanwhile, Hellfire Hogs puts another 10 points on the board. That is 20-40, and the snitch is nearly neck and neck. Tama just in the lead.
Say, that goal is terrible because I can see the keeper coming out for a hero kick, which may make Michimo secure the snitch. But Tama not scared. Gets a bump, but gets hit on the way.
Oh no!
I think Michimo...
Oh, Michi goes down!
Michi is down. Is this gonna be a tight game?
Tama swings out of the way of Dak Daniels, still leading on top of the snitch. Tama secures the catch. That is a tie game at 1 minute 40 seconds on the clock.
I think this may be all up to the last snitch. Or if you're confident in your chasers, you can go full chaser game.
Oh my goodness. Oh, it looks like the Nimbus Nighthawks wants to focus on the chaser game here, putting another 10 points on the board, but there is enough time on the clock for another snitch or another, I would say, 3 to 4 goals if they headline it here today. Come
Might
on!
seem Eleanor might tie it again, and they, together with Shinobu, tie it again.
Are we
I
going
have
to
no
go
clue
into an
what way-
overtime here?
This might be our first overtime match of the season.
Oh, I want to see it. I want to see it so bad, Ketchup. Overtime games are where my heart races.
I cannot wait to see the 100 to 100 overtime snitch. If that's gonna happen, I'm gonna scream until I can't no more.
Well, both teams are not wanting to concede a single goal. Beesman back in possession of the quaffle, sending it on over to Shinobi. Meanwhile, it looks like Tama is incredibly leading on that snitch. Michimo trailing behind by approximately a 15% margin. Tama just on the 75%. Oh, but the Hellfire Hogs have brought it to 60. The Nimbus Nighthawks have 19 seconds to bring this back. Will they be able to secure it, or is Tama going to take this lead here? 9 seconds.
It's gonna be hard, but Deck Genials hit the Seeker. If they can just score, then it might be Michimo time. I think this is it.
Tama, another goal or another snitch catch, bringing that match 80 to 50. Match is over there. The Nimbus Nighthawks have secured, or excuse me, the Hellfire Hogs have secured their second win, closing out today with their first seasonal win. Oh my goodness. Well done, Hellfire Hogs. I am so proud of you here today.
And that's not everything. I am so proud of Tana for putting up such a good game today. I mean, last week Tana didn't do the greatest, but today they did make a comeback and show them who they can really be.
Indeed. I think Tama has spent some time practicing on the pitch, maybe getting out into those Q6 matches or practicing in some of these scrims in order to get back on form here today. To Tama and to the Hellfire Hogs, excellent form out there. You did absolutely spectacularly here today. That isn't to discredit the Nimbus Nighthawks. First match of the season can always be a rough one, but you performed excellently here. I must say, you focused on that aggressive chaser play this match here today, in this second match. Excellent work. Well done over to the Nimbus Nighthawks. Close games all around, close games. What do you think, Ketchup? What does this spell out for the season when it comes down to the Hellfire Hogs and the Nimbus Nighthawks?
Well, it certainly showed that the Hellfire Hogs certainly are not to be messed with. Even if they did lose their first game, they can still come back. It's still not over yet. But that's the same for the Nimbus Nighthawks. This was their first game of the season. But it does not mean that it's already over for them. They can still make a comeback.
That they can, and I must say, knowing the Nimbus Nighthawks, especially having watched them over in Season 4's Newts qualifiers, their beef, or poultry, their rivalry with the Hellfire Hogs has always been one that has led to some fiery and passionate games, and that is no exception for today's matches. We'll probably see them face off at least once or twice more over this season. And I have to say, will the Nimbus Nighthawks be able to bring this around for the next few matches? I'm also going to go ahead and say here, Hellfire Hogs have broken their losing streak here in the OWLs. And as they get their matches logged in, we will see them loading back up on the OWLs board. I think that might put them ahead just a bit on the Gaslight and Grindelows. Speaking of the Grindelows, we will be seeing later today the Grindelows return to the pitch to face off against the Chadley Cannons in the latest game of our matches today. But before that, we are going to have Team Pumpkin Snatch facing off against Dumbledork's Army. Another inaugural match for this team. Looks like the Dumbledore's Army is going to be competing in their first match against a headlining team in Season 5 OWLs. Do you have any insights, Ketchup? What do you think that we're going to see here today between Dumbledore's Army and Team Pumpkin Snatch?
Well, I don't want to say too much. Like, Team Pumpkin Snatch is an incredibly strong team. But I have seen Dumbledore's Army 2-0 Team Pumpkin Snatch once, so it can go either way.
Now I do wonder, with that, Team Pumpkin Snatch only behind in the OWL's leaderboard by points conceded. I do have to wonder, if they win here today, will they overtake the Avenging Angels?
But there's only one way to find out, and that's to be there. So be sure to tune into the next stream, or if we're still streaming, I don't know, it's in 1.5 hours. Are you still streaming then?
I should be. As far as I'm aware, we'll be streaming back in at that point. Currently, just making sure to take a look at all of this. Yes, it's looking as if, by way of the next match, we are going to be seeing them occurring in just over an hour or just under an hour and a half. In the meantime, everyone, we're going to go to a break, check and see if some of these teams want to enter into a scrimmage. But if you happen to join us at any time, be sure to meet back here within about an hour's time to not miss out on the next seasonal match between Team Pumpkin Snatch and Dumbledore's Army. In the meantime, it has been a pleasure presenting today's match between the Hellfire Hogs and the Nimbus Nighthawks. Ketchup, any words of wisdom before we cut away to a break?
Well, I just see that Jay said queue up in Q6, so you know, might as well warm up for these upcoming matches.
Very true, very true. For any players contending in today's matches, whether that be the next teams of TPKS or DA, or even down to the Chadley Cannons and the Gaslighting Grindelows, if you're wishing to scrimmage, let us know, because I would be happy to showcase your scrimmage matches here at League 7. Otherwise, get your practice in, and good luck. We will be seeing each of you on the pitch later. To our audience, if you haven't already, please go ahead, like and subscribe us here over on Twitch, but also over on our YouTube. For newcomers coming in today, if you haven't already, be sure to go ahead and join us over at our League 7 Discord that you can find over at our official site at league7.gg. But for now, I'm Virtual Witchcraft, this is Ketchup, and thank you for joining us here at League 7. We shall see you later.
Toma sua safada, quica sua safada, vai. Toma sua safada, quica sua safada, vai, vai. Vem sentando pro pai, pai. Vem sentando pro pai. Vem sentando pro pai, pai. Vem sentando pro pai.
Eu tentei bater de frente, 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 de frente.
Quer ser que sou agressivo, deixa sua bunda ardendo.
Vai novinha com todo prazer, hoje você tá tarada. Piranha, vai toma, toma, vai. Toma, toma, toma. Vai, toma, toma, toma.
Hello and welcome back, everyone. Welcome back to yet another seasonal match here at League 7. I am joined in the booth by Ketchup once again as we begin to move towards our second match of the day, Team Pumpkin Snatch versus Dumbledork's Army. Welcome back, Ketchup. How are you feeling?
I am feeling incredible. This is another match that is going to be a very exciting one. Dumbledorks has beat Pumpkin Snatch in the past, but can they do it again? I am really excited to see how this is going to go.
As am I, especially seeing that this is going to be the first match for Dumbledork's Army, if I'm not mistaken, for this season. 2 inaugural matches on one day. Love to see it. Now, I will say, we have seen that Pumpkin Snatch has had a dominant lead in their gameplay up to this point. Will that continue into this next game? Or will Dumbledork's Army pull a fantastic turnaround and claim a victory in their first match? What do you think? Ketchup? Obviously, I know you want to be as unbiased as possible, but just knowing where they stand, any prospective interest in giving us a guess of who might take this first game?
If I'm looking at the players themselves, Team Pumpkin Snatch is very scary in players. But looking at the synergy between Dumbledork's Army, my instinct may go to Dumbledork's Army there.
Ooh. Now that would be very fun to see. I know Dumbledork's Army in the past has been a formidable team, but we have seen, at least by way of the Nimbus Nighthawks today, that sometimes between matches there's plenty of rust to try and knock off. I do wonder if perhaps Dumbledork's Army has been using their scrimmages wisely and learning to keep up the 6v6 pressure, or if perhaps during the summer holiday they've kind of let themselves go. Little to say, it's bound to be an exciting match. Regarding the match itself, we are currently still waiting for the players to get themselves loaded on in together. Looks like both of them are trying to get in some last minute matches, skirmishes. If you haven't already, be sure to like and subscribe here at League 7 on our Twitch, over on our YouTube, and of course be sure to join us over in our home Discord that you can find at league7.gg. Now that is our official website for you to keep up with all of the matches that we've done so far, previous seasons, and the names and faces of the people who have helped get us this far today. Tokyo Zeno says, oh, people actually still play this. I thought the game was straight dead. We have been doing everything in our part to make sure that the game doesn't completely die out. It is, of course, fantastic to play. It just needs a bit of love here and there, and plenty of people to play into it. If anything, I will say, our community here at League 7 and the community over at Q6 have been keeping the game alive and active, and I'm proud to say that recently we have seen an uptick in number of players entering into solo queue. Some new faces, plenty of old ones, and of course returning faces over in our league is always welcome. If you haven't already, please do join us over in our Discord. If you have felt like you could potentially stand to play in a competitive 6v6 format, it is wonderful to engage in League 7 on the league, but also over at Q6 in everyday gameplay. Now, Ketchup, you have obviously been playing into the game itself a lot more than I have, and especially within the league itself. Do tell me, what's your experiences like playing on both sides?
Well, I'm just gonna say Q6 is always such a fun time. Just getting those draft picks, always having a new team, and being able to play whenever you want, if the queue allows for it, of course. It's an incredibly fun, but short and sweet time, which on the other hand, League 7, having a team that you go with for the whole few months, around 2-3 months, I think around 2 most of the time, is also such an incredible experience that you always want to go through. This time I'm in a very fun and really good team, so I'm really excited to see what League 7 holds in the future for us, but both sides of the spectrum are incredibly interesting in their own unique way.
Hopefully. Go ahead.
I was just going to say, I see that Virtual might have a bit of technical issues, but now you're back.
No, I'm back. I'm just getting everything loaded up on my side, making sure all of the home perspectives, the away perspectives, and every asset is up and correct. That way, as we move through the match, we have everything set and ready. And it does look like right now that both teams are communicating, seeing if they're getting into their respective match. Just waiting on the teams in the meantime.
So, if you ever want to join the community, you can join the League 7 Discord. They always have the links to any other Quidditch-related Discord, and everyone is always free to help you teach the game and or help you get into a team, or even help you get better to be able to fight for the championships in the Q6 finals.
League 7 itself has been an incredible place to learn as you go as well. We are allowing new players to hop onto each of these different teams that are already pre-established. So if you've left the game and just come back after some time, it is the perfect place to do so. I would say get some training in over in Q6, because if you are not used to the modern meta within the game, it can be a wee bit overwhelming. All that said, the community is welcoming. Yes.
I've got a question. Since I had a 2-season break, does that mean that rule also counts for me?
That is a good question. I would think so. But also at the same time, that would be something to confer on our official website at league7.gg. They do have, if I'm not mistaken, the Season 5 rule sets posted up right now. And if it doesn't happen to specify within there, you can ask within our general Discord, and they should be able to clear that up.
I think I'll make a special rule just for me that I'm not allowed to do that, most likely.
They'll make sure that Ketchup can get back into the gameplay and show the pure dominance on the field yet again. Meanwhile, I've been teasing match by match, season by season, that I would be popping in and out of the game myself. Now, I have committed myself to a bit of the broadcasting primarily, but at the same time, I would say that it would be rather fun to join onto a team here or there, or maybe even just work as a potential substitute if the rules be allow it.
That's a good idea, but like, if you're ever gonna face my team, we're not gonna have any commentators.
Well, that is fair. We would have to hand it over, unless people want to see me trying to juggle between commentating and playing against Ketchup. Lord, that would be rough.
That reminds me of the time that I had to both manage and play in the Champions Cup. That was such a good time.
I was about to say, having done the commentating aspect on my side, I can't imagine having to go between that and playing whilst trying to keep up with the team comms. I would imagine you would have had to like mute yourself or deafen yourself so that you could concentrate between the two.
I even had to mute my own game, because otherwise it would be hurting stream.
Oh goodness.
I did not really have the time to figure it out. I had to ready everything within 5 minutes.
And there's Angel in chat, being ever the wholesome person that they are. Everyone started from zero, and many people have returned later to the game and enjoyed it. There's casual and competitive communities, and everyone is giving tips and training. There's even a dedicated band of newer players grouping with some experienced players offering tutelage. We do love to see it. This community thrives on one another, and it's good to see that we have established players and newer players coming together in order to play a game of Quidditch that we do so love.
I have got to say, Tokyo, if you ever are in need of beta tips, I'm always available in DMs.
And, on my side of things, if you happen to prefer the seeking aspect, well, I may not have as much experience on the pitch as some others, but I am happy to give any tips and tricks that I've learned along the way to prospective seekers. I have had some training in the field itself, competed in some seeker trials against others, and of course, having the playtest experience, I would say that I can offer some good meta-knowledge here and there.
I see that Tokyo was a chaser/keeper. Well, if you want any new keeper techniques, I recommend going to Scourge. He's currently one of, if not the best keepers in Quidditch. And then, of course, for chasers, we have quite a few good chasers. And almost anyone can play a good chaser, so just ask anyone and they will be able to help you with the current stuff. If you really want to top up on the chaser gameplay, I would recommend just queuing in Q6. Like, if you're not well known, most of the time you get with some chaser anyway.
But Chaser in and of itself is probably the position that possesses the most versatility, and I will say there is no one single build that everyone can agree upon. I've noticed that a lot of players generally have the most diversity in their builds, their brooms, as well as their general playstyles in the Chaser game. I would say that it is the best entry point into the game on the whole. It has a low skill floor and a high skill ceiling. You'll never really be able to 100% master it, given just how diversified that the Chaser gameplay can be. And especially with the new meta within League 7, where we have the custom matches, usually 3 snitch games, all snitches being 20 points each. It's really balanced the gameplay and brought the beater perspective back onto the Chasers, which has forced them to be a little more nimble, if you will. Which I'd love to see over the past 2 seasons.
I'm just gonna say, but with those new snitch rules, it really feels like I'm playing Five Nights at Freddy's, switching between chaser focus, seeker focus, and even hitting keeper time to time, and then having a fight with the beater.
I mean, we saw it in the last match. The beaters in and of themselves were flying every which way, trying to balance going between the chasers, the seekers, even the keepers and beaters at times, which was something that I must say was rather lacking in the gameplay that we had seen up until, was it Season 3 that they had implemented the 3 snitch rule, or was that a Season 4 original?
I think it actually was originated from Season 3, but I don't know since I did not play that season. I only came back recently in the beginning of Season 4.
But by that point, I believe it was a well-established standard, wasn't it?
Yes, it was a well-established standard, even being practiced in Q6.
Ah, love to see it. But again, the game in and of itself is alright in its base gameplay, but I do think that with the community having come together to really standardize the game and make it more of a competitive element, I do think that it has gotten even better since its original days on launch. And certainly, I would say, a little more balanced than what it was even back during the playtest era. Tokyo says, I'm actually pretty excited. I thought the game 100% fizzled out. Nice to see a pretty big community. And we're happy that you're coming back into it. And we are actually coming back into the first match of Team PKS versus the DA. That is Team Pumpkin Snatch versus Dumbledore's Army.
I'm just gonna say this, but this is gonna be an exciting match. I really hope that Neo, on the time of Team Pumpkin Snatch, is gonna have a great time, because I know recently he was not having the best time on Seeker, so you never know.
Well, I will say that the variability that comes with Seeker gameplay can be, both the variability and the stress that comes with it, can be quite rough. But that said, first goal ends up going by way of Dumbledore's army, putting it in under the first 30 seconds. We do have the perspective of Alpha Tux and it's Luna. Luna on the keeper play for Dumbledore's army and Alpha Tux as beater.
But Tux died, which probably means that they cannot get the finishing blow on the Seeker, which is gonna hurt them a lot. Getting a kill this early, but also not too early, is going to be such an advantage for them. But I do see that the Seeker still is very low. It can go either way. And Tux lining it up is actually getting them kill. It's going to be so hard for them to catch the snitch now, and they have to tie it with buffer game to even stand a chance.
Right. And it seems that Jova, having taken that early down, is now significantly far behind. I would say upwards of about 40% on the meter. It's looking right now with Team Pumpkin Snatch, Neo, having said that he was having a harder time with Seeker gameplay, enjoying a strong, rather easy lead here. Meanwhile, it looks as if Dumbledore's army is attempting to keep Alpha Tux off of the Seeker gameplay. A smart move out the gate.
The Pumpkin Snatch did catch another couple, making it so that if Neo catches now, they're gonna have a lead of 10 points.
That's true.
But
Neo captures the snitch, bringing 20 points on the board, putting that 10 points ahead at 5 minutes left on the clock.
Reacting to Tokyo in chat, yes, the game is much more faster paced, with 3 snitches in total.
3 snitches in total, and as we said earlier, with the diversity of gameplay on beater side, it's become a lot more high pressure. Of course, we are seeing the beater's perspective with one of, if not the best beater within the game to date. I know that might be a bit of a personal attack on you, Ketchup, but Alpha Tux has been here for a long while. You're going to have to take him down as one of the bludgers in your match against TPKS to claim that victory.
I don't want to say much, but yes, it did in fact hurt me very, very much.
I
Will be
apologize.
hearing from my lawyer.
I see. Well, I won't be the only one facing a lawsuit, as it seems like the assault on Jolva coming from Alpha Tux has been keeping him out of the Seeker race. Meanwhile, Neo is just crested past the 50% lead. However, Dumbledore's army put a point on the board there, bringing a tied game. We are at 20-20, 3 minutes 30 seconds left on the clock. Meanwhile, it looks as if Neo is still streaking far ahead, having gotten past the 60% on that snitch lead. Meanwhile, Luna sending the quaffle on back out there, passes it to Silverlimb. Silverlimb drops the quaffle. However, with Team PKS peeking that back up over with Cardi. Cardi looking for an opening. Will they be able to get past Luna? Sends a bounce shot. Luna saves. Beautiful save there, Luna. Beautiful save.
Luna is doing very good on keeper, but if she dies now, it's gonna end very bad. Well, I say that, but it seems that DA still has the cover possession. And if they keep a cover game like this, it might go to a 2-snitch game and end on quaffle.
It's looking very much like it might be a 2-snitch game. We are just getting down past 2:30, and it looks like Alpha Tux is just getting back on the snitch game. Meanwhile, it looks as if over with Jolva has caught back up roughly. We see that Team PKS is currently enjoying a 90 percentile, but Jolva has gotten past to the 80. Oh, it's getting close.
DA is putting pressure on Tux. If Joel can just keep up that lead in front of Neo and make sure that Neo cannot grab it. But that is too late. Neo catches the snitch. It was a great catch because Joel was really guarding that snitch.
One bump could have brought Jova back into the lead. Maybe the team was focusing a little too much on Tux and not nearly enough over on Neo. Neo being an absolutely fantastic Seeker, one of, if not the top running Seeker in the league to date. However, any amount of chaser interference, any amount of beater interference can always change the game and bring it around into the other team's perspective. We do see that by way of the Seeker gameplay, they are both relatively close. Jova taking one bump there, and meanwhile, a beautiful shot there over by Shoni, bringing the score 50-20 at 1 minute, 10 seconds left on the clock.
Neo killed Joel, which is sick because Leggy just did an incredible intercept to save Joel life after an accidental dodge.
It'll come down to a wrong dodge or a wrong turn, and that can bring you down. But Cleat is closing the gap. We are at 50-30, 54 seconds left on the clock.
Joel really has to bump Snitch back, which is going to be incredibly hard, especially with so little time. But I do believe that it is still possible for them to win the Snitch.
It is still possible, and we are just cresting into the last 30 seconds of the game. Will Dumbledore's army bring this around?
Joel just needs to get those few bumps, but I see that Joel got hit by the keeper, giving Neo a straight line for the Snitch.
Oh!
But
Tux goes down.
An incredible hit from Leggy with touchdown. No! Neo gets the Snitch. Joel cannot make the comeback. I'm sad to say that we're not going to see an overtime match this game, but we do get to see a beautiful victory for Team Pumpkin Snatch. Even so, Team Pumpkin Snatch still wants to get those scores, and that's it. It's 70-30 for Team Pumpkin Snatch. We really tried. Dumbledore Army tried, but they cannot go against the might of Team Pumpkin Snatch. Was that 708 against 30 points?
No, you're seeing things, obviously. But yes, there was a graphical error for a moment there, but it was indeed 70-30. Well done, Team Pumpkin Snatch. I must say, that was a spectacular back and forth match there. The only real decider coming down to that Snitch game, but we did see some incredible chaser play back and forth.
Well, I don't want to say a lot, but I do think that maybe the Dumbledore's army does have a chance. Because knowing Neo, it's very not easy. Neo is still an incredibly good Seeker, but I know that Neo's weakness is just pressuring him. He likes to play very defensive to avoid getting those hits that make you lose 5% of that meter, which is a whole lot in such a fast meter game.
It is.
So he loves to play defensive. So if that beater, Leggy can just make use of it, and instead of trying to get those hits, did Tux just put their mouse sensitivity to 1?
Good question. Bold move, but also at the same time, maybe it will help out when it comes down to keeping an even perspective throughout the entirety of it. Like, I myself keep my mouse sensitivity relatively high, but that's because I like being able to whip myself back and forth as the Seeker. Making those tight turns can come in handy when trying to avoid an oncoming bludger, or even a rogue player deciding that my head looks like a perfect place for their foot, their fist, or their beater bat to make contact with.
I'm gonna be honest, I'm just looking at Tux's screen. He has put on the worst setting. He put on windowed mode. He put on 550 times 960. I can count the pixels there. Okay, but let us continue with our conversation that we had. If Leggy can just make sure that Neo does not get close to the Snitch, just pressure Neo. You don't always have to get those hits to do very good boss beater. You just have to pressure the Seeker enough to give room for your Seeker, to make sure to capitalize on the mistakes of their Seeker.
True.
Then if they do that, maybe they have a better chance than Seeker. But that's just my perspective of how I would play against Neo. Neo is still an incredibly good Seeker, and it's incredibly hard to hit him or to make sure that your Seeker will win.
It's
Why am I whispering?
whispering. Well, I've done some audio balancing. Hopefully you guys can hear us a little better now. Yay? Nay? Go ahead and tell us in the chat. Ah, Tokyo caved. Back in the game. Let's go, Tokyo.
Let's go, laddie. Glad to have you back. And I'm hoping that my audio quality is better now, because if I was whispering, I'm sorry. Most of the time after, like, it's late, I do become a bit more quiet to not wake up my family.
And that is right. What time is it for you over on your side, Ketchup?
It's at 11:30 p.m. and I have to wake up at 5 a.m. But that does not mean that I'm not going to be commentating also the next game, which is going to be at 2 a.m. for me.
2 a.m. Oh, goodness. Also, you're a darker end. What game is this? Someone explain how it works. But, well, welcome, you darker end, to Quidditch. And speaking of Quidditch, we are actually about to move back into the match as we see the second game of Team Pumpkin Snatch versus Dumbledore's Army.
I will be looking from Vanir's POV this time, because I don't know if I can handle the Tux graphics.
Well, we are going to see, we're going to be taking a look between Tux and Vanir here today as we start the second match.
And the second match has begun with, of course, Team Pumpkin Snatch getting the quaffle, but then immediately getting stopped by Luna, and now Team DA has the quaffle. If they can get a goal within the first minute, just like last time, maybe they can switch up Seeker game and get the win.
And it does look as if Vanir is looking to get that early lead, diving around the keeper, swinging back and forth, but a beautiful save from Pumpkin Snatch herself, taking the quaffle out of Vanir's hand and sending it on out to Teddy Ready. Teddy Ready streaking down the pitch, trying to get past its Luna. Ooh, Tux going down. Looks like they're alleviating the Seeker pressure right now, as both Seekers are just cresting into the 50% meter. But it does look as if Dumbledore's Army is in a marginal lead there.
That is indeed true. Dumbledore's Army does look very good on Snitch, unlike last time where, I'm sorry, was that a great one-timer from Teddy, which is the first goal of the game. But I don't know if that's good for them, because now Dumbledore's Army is gonna have a hero kick as a reserve, which means they can finish the Snitch with a hero kick, almost guaranteeing it for Dumbledore's Army.
But it looks like they sent that hero kick on out already. Hasn't affected the Snitch just yet, but we do see that both teams are keeping up the pressure. Team Pumpkin Snatch closing in on the Snitch. Dumbledore's Army right behind them. We see Seekers getting closer, swapping on over to Tux's perspective. It looks like a goal either way. Tux sends a
And
blood
Joe
drop in
got a
here.
bump.
A bump!
Just
Oh! It looks
with a
like
back
Neo's gone
turn.
down!
What a KO. Neo getting down in the last stretch is gonna cost them a lot, and with that, is Joel gonna catch the Snitch or is Neo gonna get back up? And Joel got the Snitch. What a great catch. What did Peggy do great with that Neo kill?
What a spectacular, just tactical play there. Knocking out Neo and then going for Tux to ensure that Jova has the opportunity to catch that Snitch, despite all of the Seeker pressure that we saw there. That brings the scoreboard 10 to 20, and we are 4 minutes and 15 seconds left on the scoreboard. Dumbledore's Army currently enjoying a 10-point lead.
I am also seeing that Leggy is focused currently a bit more on the chaser side of things. Maybe it's a good thing, maybe it's a bad thing. Ooh, but even with Leggy on the chaser, see that Teddy can get the quaffle in, making it tight again.
Tied game at 3 minutes 50 seconds left. Currently, Seekers look to be at an even gameplay. It seems like it's a back and forth, these evenly matched teams. Very impressive to see from Dumbledore's army. In their first match of the season, they have been putting in their scrims. They have been showcasing that they put forth the work. Alpha Tux goes down yet again. It looks as if Laggy Lestrange, captain of Dumbledore's army, is putting forth the effort.
I'm seeing that they're saying that I'm whispering again, which I get the joke. These teams, they're calling me Austrian in chat, which is, ooh, I'm sorry, but that was a great goal from Shoni, which his in-game name currently is Shonissel, which I think is pretty funny. But yes, the joke Austrian is in my Q6. In Q6, I am called the Austrian painter, known for terrorizing the game, so to speak.
Oh my goodness. I will say, Laggy Lestrange is keeping up the fabulous pressure over on Tux, ensuring that Tux can't get in there to interfere. However, that attention might be better set over on Neo. Neo is currently just 5% away. Meanwhile, it looks as if Jolva still has to get closer. Oh, but a bump has set Neo back, and Jolva captures the snitch, bringing the score 40-30 at 2 minutes 10 seconds left on the clock. Dumbledore's army now in the lead.
This is such a surprise. They really switched up on the Seeker game. It seems they focus less on Chaser and more on Seeker, and it really pays off. If they can just secure this last catch, it means they can secure the game. Of course, it can still go that Team Pumpkin Snatch might become really good chaser core, and I mean, they have a really good chaser core, and they can far easily score 3 goals, even 4 goals, winning them the game. But of course, they have to get past Luna for that, which is incredibly hard.
Luna showcasing right there how difficult it truly is. And meanwhile, the Near puts it in. Another 10 points to Dumbledore's army.
And to answer Angel's question, the first game was 70-30 to Team Pumpkin Snatch, which, if it looks like now, it might be the other way around, which makes it 70-30 to Team DA. But that's only a dream.
But Neo still has the capacity to bring this to a tied game if Team Pumpkin Snatch's Chaser Core doesn't do it already. But it looks as if all attention is on the Seeker gameplay. They know this could make or break the match. Meanwhile, Jova still in the lead, encroaching closer. 30 seconds
We
left.
have 30 seconds left. It's such a tight race. Do we get a bump? Joel, Neo right next to each other, and Neo gets the snitch, making
Tied
it 50-50.
game.
Oh, the next goal will decide if the team wins or loses. If Team Pumpkin Snatch wins, that means the game and the set is over. But if Team DA scores and they win, we're gonna go to a game 3. Right now, Team Pumpkin Snatch in the attack. If they score, it's over.
It's
and Teddy
over!
Scores. Oh, what a close game. DA put up a real tough match against Team Pumpkin Snatch, which is considered one of the best teams in the league. This is such a great performance, catching 2 out of the 3 snitches and making sure that they don't get 100.
Just spectacular gameplay out there. Dumbledore's army really put forth the effort today, and if I'm quite honest, has showcased perhaps one of the strongest openings in the season for any team here in Season 5 thus far. Now, Neo, we did see that Dumbledore's army brought forth perhaps one of the best turnarounds. They had learned from their previous match against Team Pumpkin Snatch and really applied some different pressure throughout the game in the second one. Was there any key highlights there that you saw that you would like to bring to notice?
Well, of course, in the first game I noticed is that Tux's beater gameplay was very oppressive, making sure that the Seeker could not fly freely, could not go for a bump. Everything he did could be punished and was punished by Tux. But in the second game I did notice that they have the chaser focus more on Tux throughout the whole game. Whenever chasers did not do anything, they try and hit Tux. Whenever Leggy could not hit the Seeker, they try and hit Tux, which makes Tux's beating far less oppressive, which makes sure that Joel could catch the snitch, and he actually did, which makes it an incredibly good switch up and an incredibly good adaptation from Dumbledore's army to see what the Pumpkin Snatcher's strong suit was and try and make it their weakness.
That's a good point. I did notice that with that excellent beater pressure being applied, it did give Jova the necessary breakaway to capture those snitches there. However, Neo has never been counted out. Neo knows that even if the chips are down and you can't rely on your own beater, you're still going to have to put forth all of that impressive effort just to ensure that, of course, your team doesn't lose behind. And I will say, it was that last minute snitch catch by way of Neo that really helped to equalize the playing field and prevent Dumbledore's army from getting that win there, shutting out the match for today between Team Pumpkin Snatch and Dumbledore's army. Now,
Do see in the chat that some people say Blue Bottle 000 goes hard. I did notice that Tux did heavily handicap themselves, but I did not want to point it out to make it seem like he was playing his best, to make the game more close than it actually seemed like.
Maybe. I will say, as I've said before, the meta has been changing. Particularly with the new style of gameplay that we're used to, it does become a bit of a question if there is viability behind every broomstick. Back in the past, Blue Bottle, heck, even the Swift Stick were disparaged greatly, with only a few players who truly mastered the broomsticks, showcasing that they are viable in play. But it seems like more players are beginning to experiment a bit more with their broomsticks and builds nowadays. I would say, Ketchup, from your experience in earlier seasons versus what you're used to playing today, have you noticed a difference in how you played back then versus how you play now?
Most definitely, because back then it was much more of a kill fest. Most people just went full aggressive and just tried to put on as much pressure as possible, not realizing the consequences of their actions. But right now everyone plays far more patiently. It's much more worthwhile to put on the pressure instead of the actual action.
I will say, at least from a viewing perspective, on my side, I have seen each of these players whom I've known for 5 seasons now really develop into their style of gameplay. Of course, you're always going to have the usual ticks from each general player. It's one of the best reasons why the more experience you have on the pitch, the more you know what you're going up against each of these players. For instance, I myself have quite a few ticks on Seeker that make it a little easier to play against me if you know what to look out for. Will I be sharing that here? No. But I'm sure if you get out there into the game, then you'll be able to notice it here and there, and good luck to you when you do. Be sure to
I'm
apply
so
that.
physical, but can we go back to your courage, because I would love to know them. Go in great detail about it.
I say that again, Ketchup. I'm sorry, I didn't really catch you there.
The ticks you have on Seeker, could you go and please and talk about it in great detail we would love to hear about them.
Sure, right on. So, when it comes down to Seeker play, you're really going to want to prioritize both the speed and the precision of your broomstick. I would say that it is easy to go by way of the Firebolt. Firebolt does provide probably the best speed and acceleration within the entirety of the broom kits. However, if you are not used to the fact that the Firebolt can be rather unwieldy with its motion, then it can be a bit of a damper. I would advise away from the Nimbus unless you yourself have absolutely mastered flying out of the way of every single bludger, every single beater clunk and chaser punch there is out there. The standard broomstick for most flyers has been the Cavalier, which, for good reason, whilst it is a little slower than either the Firebolt or the Nimbus, it does still have the same lower acceleration than both, but it does have perhaps the superior nimbleness behind it. And it has greater health than the Nimbus, making it a lot easier to fly throughout the pitch, take a few hits here and there, and keep up. But what it boasts best is its superior, and I do mean excellent, superior boost capability. One ring will last you for a good while. Now, there is other fringe builds by way of the Turbo, some of it times and the Clean Sweep, the Shooting Star. However, they're not nigh as viable as those first three I provided there.
Well, I just want to say something about it because I am an avid Turbo enjoyer. I use Turbo on most of my main roles. I use Turbo on my Seeker and I use Turbo on my Beater, giving it not the best health, but great regeneration. It has the best boost in the game. It does not have maximum acceleration and speed, but it has 1 point away from it, making it great in chase situations and just getting a boost up to the Seeker.
Which can especially help both in a seeking and a beating perspective. Now, I myself, when I venture into holding the beater bat, I generally tend to run on a Nimbus. Most people shy away from it, and I understand why. Don't get me wrong. The Nimbus, it's a weak broom in terms of its longevity and its health, but I will say being able to make a 360 turn and then immediately clunk a player, grab a bludger out of the air, turn around and attack the Seeker, it makes you an absolute menace on the pitch. And yes, you can get knocked down, but as a beater, I would say, given how short the KO can be in a 6v6 format, it doesn't tend to be as detrimental as, say, if you were playing on the Seeker perspective with a Nimbus. With those Nimbus flights, it can be a glass cannon. It very much is the glass cannon of the broomsticks. Now,
I'm just going to say something about the Nimbus. On a beater, yes, you die much easier, but the one good thing about dying is the enemy Seeker does not know where you are anymore. You are totally undetectable until you respawn, which can get you some of those very funny and very nice surprise hits.
True. I have thought about, with the surprise hits in general, it's a lesser exercise tactic on the pitch. Usually you can generally tell when the beater, when anyone is coming for you to attack you, especially as a Seeker. You're keeping an eye on all of the bludger bar, the arrows showcasing each of the enemy players, focusing on you. But I would say that if you have the ability to break away from constantly focusing on one player or another and coming out of nowhere, which we've seen plenty of times with the beaters at the corners of the map, if you swing in from out of nowhere, most Seekers, most Chasers, most Beaters even, aren't really prepared for that. And it takes someone who has taken a lot of time and a lot of hits just to keep up with that style of gameplay. The element of surprise should never be downcast in this game. Yes, skill should take forward, but the element of surprise can make or break a match.
I'm just gonna say, Virtual, the element of surprise does take a whole lot of skill, because every Seeker plays differently. You need to know the enemy Seeker, how they play. Are they gonna use focus cam, or do they not use focus cam? Because it all depends on if they use that or not, where you need to come from for that surprise hit.
True, especially given the fact that with the focus cam, it does allow them, when rounding corners, especially around the hoops, having that vantage point if they take on the outside of the snitch to see who's coming at them and knowing when to dodge appropriately. On my side of things, I knew you asked from my perspective, I don't generally run focus cam. I find it a little distracting on my side and it disorients me. But that isn't to say that I find it useless. Instead, I've seen many of the top tier Seekers, if not the majority of them, running on the focus cam, which has given them an advantage when it comes down to circling around those hoops a lot. Because, of course, it can be a little overwhelming when you're trying to avoid the keeper, the beater, the chasers, and the enemy Seeker coming in for a bump. But as I said earlier, if you're taking to the outside of the snitch, then usually you're going to find that it is a lot easier for you as the Seeker to maneuver around the enemy players if you can see them coming with that focus cam.
That is indeed true. Focus cam, one of, if not the most important skill to know as a top tier Seeker. It does not mean you cannot become a top tier Seeker without knowing it, but at least knowing when to use it and just using it when you need it is a great jump in how good you are as a Seeker.
And just let that be advice to each of you out there, prospective Seekers and prospective players and prospective League 7 champions. As it stands, with enough practice, enough training, and just enough exposure to the gameplay on the whole, you too can master the game and really put it forward. I hope that for any new players out there, if you're even considering joining into League 7, I would love, absolutely love, to be able to broadcast your gameplay someday here on the stream. Now, I will go ahead and say we are a few hours out from our next gameplay. It's going to be rather late in the evening before we get to it. So, if you haven't already, be sure to like and subscribe to get notifications as to when we are about to move into the next game, which is going to be the Chadley Cannons versus the Gaslighting Grindelows later this evening. Now, we may have a few scrimmage matches here and there, but between Ketchup and I, we will be stepping away from the commentating for a bit as we bring you live to those scrimmage matches. That said, before we leave out, as I said before, like and subscribe. Be sure to join our team Discord, or our league Discord, that you can find over at league7.gg, which will also give you more information regarding this season, the OWL's rankings, as well as any going-ons that we have for general events, as well as cluing you in to our previous history here at League 7. It has been a long ride thus far into Season 5, and I'm hoping to see even more matches, even more seasons, and even more new players coming into the game to showcase their abilities and become the next League 7 champions. But that's going to be it from me for now. Ketchup, any words of wisdom before we move on over to the break?
I need to go to bed. I need to wake up in 5 hours.
Fair enough. In which case then, I will let you head off to bed and I will catch you at a later date. Be sure, our audience, once you join on in, to follow us and keep up to date with all of the matches going on. Next time you see me, I'm going to be hosting the pitch here on my lonesome as Ketchup gets some well-needed rest. We do see from
I'm still
Patreon.
going to be commentating next game. I already set my alarm.
Oh, Ketchup is dedicated. Never mind, I'm going to be joined once again by the ever-fabulous, ever-Banff beater Ketchup. So, as we go away, good luck to our champions, and thank you for watching. We will be back later.